people, media, journalists, and all around inspiring South Asians. To begin, I would like to invite up Mr. Hassan Khalid, President of OpenDC and President and CEO of Pak One Brands, to set the stage for the beginning of what I know is going to be a very powerful weekend.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it. Good evening, guests. On behalf of OpenDC, I welcome you to the Global Retreat 2025. Welcome. It's great to see you. It's an honor to host you guys in DC. And today, in the last couple of days, I've seen so many members, charter members, board members from across the globe, Pakistan, London, US, different states, Chicago, California. So welcome everyone, welcome to DC, and it's a great honor to host you guys. I'd like to especially thank our chapter leaders and board members that are present today from different chapters. In no particular order, Junaid Qureshi, board members, Silicon Valley, welcome. Mohammed Heather, Chair Boston, Imran Iqbal, Chair Houston, Bilal Ahmed, Chair Austin, Salman Azhar, President Carolinas, Babar Rator, President Chicago, Zulfi Jaffrey, Chairman New York, and Khalid Mahmood, President Dallas, and Feast Haq, Board Member London. So welcome, and thank you so much for traveling all the way to DC. We also have a delegation from Pakistan, PSCB and Abu Bakr is not in today, but Tech Conference and their delegation from Pakistan. So welcome to DC, gentlemen. And we had a great event yesterday, actually. So we wanted to call them out and thank them for making it to our event. Thank you so much. So to organize events like this, it takes a lot of effort and collaboration. A special thanks to our Global Planning Committee, of course, Tariq Khan, our President Global. Tariq, thank you so much for picking DC. It's a great honor again. Me and Adil, our Chair of Board of Directors, he's been spearheading this since day one. So thank you so much, Adil, for your efforts. And you know, it takes a lot of time, effort to plan these events, and I especially thank the Global Planning Committee, again, Tariq Khan, Amir Jalsa, Dr. Khalid Mahmood, Zulfi Jaffrey, Hassan, Zaid, again, Adil Hussain, thank you so much. So, I wanted to recognize some of our DC chapter founders as well. They're present today. Mushtaq Khan Saab, Imran Akram, and Rizwan Ibrahim. Thank you. These are the founders of DC chapter, and they're present today. Thank you so much for your leadership and your efforts to take this chapter to the next level. You guys set the seeds, and we took on. And it's been about 20 years. So last year we had a 20-year anniversary for the DC chapter, and thank you so much for your leadership. Again, really want to thank our executive committee members and our volunteers. Without them, these events are not possible. In no particular order, Umar Dar, Abdul Qayyum, Nida, Gabriella, Sanan, Zakir, Ruba, Faisal. Thank you so much for your efforts. I know this last 3-4 weeks you guys have been working day and night to make sure everything falls into place and everything's collaborated and the event is flawless. Thank you so much for your So, Open Global and Open DC, most of you are members here. I'm sure 90% of us are open. So I'm not going to go deeper in what Open is all about. I just want to say that Open itself, meeting you guys, hosting you guys, it's so inspiring to see everyone from traveling across the globe, across the country, and to connect and to keep going every year. Every year we see a lot of new additions to our chapters, our members, And it's really great to see stories from different chapters and all the success stories we have, all the leadership that we have in this room. It's amazing to see. So I hope you guys have a great conference and you guys connect, make long-lasting, lifetime connections and relationships. And if you guys need anything from DC chapter, please reach out to my team. Thank you so much and welcome again to DC.
Thank you so much for kicking us off with such inspiring words. This next part I was not sanctioned to do, so forgive me if I get in trouble for it, but I don't think I will. Just hearing about the global nature of this organization, I think I would be really remiss if I didn't comment on the many global tragedies that we're seeing around the world. The loss of life, I would just like us to take a moment of silence for all the lives lost across Palestine, Iran, all of the families being separated in this country today. If you pray a prayer, a wish, a good vibe, whatever it is that speaks to your heart. Thank you all. Next, I would like to invite the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Tariq Khan, President of Open Global and Clinical Professor at New York University, to kickstart our retreat.
Assalamu alaikum and good evening. Farah, thank you so much. If my mother was alive, she would be so happy to hear this introduction. So short and so wonderful. I really want to thank all of you. This is really very opportunistic in a way, but selecting a city for Open Global Retreat is a very difficult process. Every chapter, we have 17 chapters globally, from Pakistan to London to US and Canada. And the chapter that says yes, at that time they're very excited, but they don't know what they're getting into. I want to thank both Adil and Hassan for accepting this. And the interesting part is when we are thinking about this, we had to decide a theme of this. And I think it was a brainchild of Adil, that what's going on. And if we can connect with it, we are all living in uncertainty today. Do you guys agree with that? And what happens to you is not in your control at times, but how you react to it and how you come out of it is very much in your control. This conference, the 3 days that we are together, is all about opportunities in uncertainty. Open Global is an organization with 17 chapters globally, with a simple mission of connecting entrepreneurs and professionals on a favorable basis. So this is your opportunity to interact with everybody, network with everyone, and ensure that you walk away with some kind of an attitude that we are thankful for what we have, and whatever it is, we'll turn every challenge into an opportunity and come strong out of it. I would be remiss if I don't acknowledge the wonderful hosting of DC chapter, especially Khalid, Hassan, and Adil and your entire team. In most of the events, a person like me comes up and takes credit of it, and this is the person who has worked the least in this. I'm very, very honored that I have so many great leaders to work with. And an organization is only as good as its leaders. But it is impossible to deliver everything that we are trying to do, and especially in an organization which is 100% volunteer organization. So I want to thank my team for being a part of this, and more importantly, I want to thank our sponsors. So if you can go to the next slide. First of all, we want to thank PSAP, Pakistan Software Export Board. I know Abu couldn't be here, but we have a very able person from, please be acknowledged, the representation from Shahbaz is here, who has been working tirelessly. Today is the first night of seeing him with us. So PSAP has brought almost 18 or 19 software companies from Pakistan, and they've been doing road shows, and they're showcasing the positive image of Pakistan, that Pakistan It's really a great place, a tech destination, and I would request all the members who have come from Pakistan, from the IT companies, to kindly stand up and be recognized. So make sure throughout the conference to reach out to them, support them, invest in them. They're doing some wonderful work. I also want to thank Wall Street Capital. Do we have Kevin and team in the audience? Kevin is, I think they're pretty much, probably sitting outside. This is another sponsor that we have, so we want to thank them for everything that they're doing. And then we have We Lost Capital. I don't know if Mustafa is here. We want to thank them. They have always come through and support us. And last but not least, Jeevanji Foundation. Probably this is the MVP, most valuable player that Open has. This is one person, whenever I reach out to, never says no. But more importantly, what he's doing to change the education in Pakistan is really commendable, and we truly appreciate. Zain Jeevanji, thank you so much for everything that you've done, everything that you'll do today, and everything that you'll do tomorrow and day after. All of us will be gone in some time, but what he has started in Pakistan, I think that's very important, and that's going to change the face of Pakistan. So once again, I want to thank all of you, and I really appreciate. We have a wonderful program lined up for you, so we're looking forward. And I just saw Mr. Imran Khan walking in. I just want to give a special recognition to him, because 27 years ago, some visionary people sat in Boston and created this organization called Open Global. So Mr. Imran Khan, thank you so much for being here. So we have a wonderful agenda planned out for you tomorrow, so I request all of you to make sure that you're here 9 a.m. tomorrow. The breakfast starts at 8, and we have a full day of planning for the event tomorrow and some programming Sunday as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tariq. If an organization is only as good as its leaders, it is no surprise how outstanding Open is with you at its helm. And now, it is my great privilege and honor to say that it is time for our keynote speaker. This keynote speaker is a real turnaround leader who is chairman of Falcon Holdings LLC and former CEO of TGI Fridays. But before we call him up, I would like to introduce the moderator of tonight's keynote fireside chat, Mr. Salman Rawala. Salman Rawala is Open Global's general counsel and attorneys practicing law in the area of commercial litigation, employment law. He represents parties in New York State, federal and appellate courts, as well as in mediation and arbitration forums across the United States and globally. His entrepreneurial journey has led him to be invited to speak at the White House Forum, as well as the United States Department of State. He's previously served as a law clerk to federal U.S. District Court judge, New York State Supreme Court judge, as well as the Attorney General of Pakistan. And he, in the free time that I'm sure he does not have, teaches at Columbia University. So Mr. Salman Rawala.
Hello. Welcome and good evening. It's my great pleasure to welcome you to the Open Annual Retreat Kickoff event. We're here as a global community of builders, dreamers, and doers, entrepreneurs, executives, and leaders, united not just by what we create, but why we create it. Open Global has long been a platform for elevating ambition and impact. And what better way to begin this journey, this conference, this retreat, than by hearing from someone who embodies the spirit in every sense, Aslam Khan. His story starts in a small village in Pakistan and crosses oceans, industries, and expectations. Today, Aslam isn't just a business leader. He's a living masterclass in resilience, value-driven leadership, and bold entrepreneurship. Aslam Khan's journey is rooted in people-first philosophy, an unwavering commitment to civility, respect, and courtesy across every relationship. His rise from humble beginnings inspires countless others, and his passion for hospitality is the heartbeat of his enterprise. His philanthropic footprint reaches disaster relief zones to the streets of his home village in Pakistan, where he's built roads, bridges, and medical clinics. The footprint is not just overseas, but also local, right here in our own country. As the driving force behind Falcon Holdings, Aslam led the transformative turnaround of Piccadilly brand, saving hundreds of jobs. Under his leadership, employees are not only empowered to thrive, they're inspired to uplift the communities where they live and work. Aslam's faith anchors his vision. After receiving life-saving lung transplants, he views each blessing as a divine call to service. His life and leadership reflect a simple truth: gratitude, grace, and growth. Please join me in welcoming the Falcon himself, Aslam Khan. Yes, we want to hear from you. Okay, everybody, we've got the fire going and we've got the side going, so we've got the fireside chat going for you to kick off this evening. Everybody can hear me okay on this microphone? Yes. Okay, very good. Thank you again, Aslam. We're looking forward to hearing from you. And let's start from the beginning. Back in Fatabad. You were a young boy crossing rivers every day just to attend school. What was driving you back then?
Thank you for having me around here tonight. I'm honored to speak to you. I'm not the smartest guy in the room, but I have a lot of experience in life that I can perhaps share with you so somebody can learn, especially young people. So, the going to school wasn't my own creation. So you were, at that time, if you were school age and school is nearby, some parents wanted their kids to go to school. So did I. But I knew that school is the only way out of that, because I was born in a little village. There is no road, no running water. They still don't have a toilet. So I did the 6th grade in one school, and then I went to middle school, and that I had to cross the river every single day. And I was a little kid, and water was kind of shoulder high, so I used to take the clothes off and take it up, and shoes, and no towel. So the other side you go triangly in the river, because you can't cross it with the force of the water that can flip you upside down. So anyway, I used to walk back, put the thing on, and it was wet clothes, and winter, summer, just like that. So I went there. That got me a little bit harder, that I need to get out of this and do something about my life. But I didn't know what was that at that time, because my parents were not educated. So then from there, one day, I finished the middle school, and I said, I need to go to a high school. High school was about 12 miles away. Very difficult. So I talked to my father, and he said, no, I don't have money for you to live in a boarding or whatever. So what you could do is Saudi Arabia or go to Kuwait or something, you know. Because those days a lot of parents used to produce a lot of male kids. We have a culture in our villages that each time as a boy they shoot the guns. Because they associated that income. Here's extra income. It's a girl. Oh, everybody's faces. But they don't know that without girls you cannot produce boys. So, but that was then, and then after finish after finished talking to him, I said something he didn't like, and we are looking at each other, and he really punished me a little bit. So I took those days we only used to have one pair of new on Eid. One salwar kameez and one shoes. So the other one was used one, a broken one that you used to wear when your mother washed the clothes and put them for drying. So I took that and left. That was history of the village.
So you're arguing and you're fighting with your father, and in this village where you grow up, there is generally a lack of education. How did you know that you've got to get out and do more? How did you say that this is not the world I will be limited by and pursue things beyond what you saw?
Today in English, I call it I wanted to change the status quo because I didn't like whatever was there, village had to offer. But I didn't know what the status quo was. Because for me, it was a life in normal. You get up, you get some prata or some food or something, then you go, come back from school, eat. Your mother put one prata and one egg in it and put it in her mouth. There were no different carriers those days. So, but I did not know what the poverty is till I did got the job in American Embassy
When did you get that job at the U.S. Embassy?
in 70s.
Okay.
So I got the job there and I looked and I said, God damn, that must be very poor. Because then I realized what the poverty was. Otherwise, we were normal people, eat 3 times a day, paratha, saag and dal and whatever have you. So that was that.
Okay. So you've expanded your view. You're working at the U.S. Embassy, which helps open doors for you, even while you're in Pakistan.
Yes.
When did you come to this country? How old were you?
Mid-80s.
Mid-80s. And then tell us a little bit about Church's Chicken and your job in
Well, since I was an embassy, first I didn't have good clothes when I joined it, but then I had a couple of suits that I brought very proudly over here and one I wore for the interview. I thought that probably would get me the job.
And this is a Church's Chicken.
He had Church's Chicken office. So district manager over there, it was Japanese, and he interviewed me and he said, I don't have a job for you. And I walked away in the door. I said, today is my first day over here. Could you tell me what happened? Where did I screwed up so I can fix it on my next interview? And he said, get the fuck out of here. I look at him. All I could do look because it was second day in America. So he told his assistant, Speedy, show the gentleman a road. Big fat guy showed up. He put his arm under my arm and it took me outside. I'm looking at it and I'm figuring out what the hell just happened to me. I'm not used to this treatment here. But anyway, I'm under the sign His sister just fried chicken. They took the fried out now. Even though there is a fried chicken, they don't call it fried. But I said, I'm going to work for this company and teach them civility. So I went back to an apartment where I was staying with a friend, put the t-shirt in a jean, went to a restaurant, and they said, what kind of job are you looking for? I said, any kind. They said, we have a dishwasher job. I said, that's fine, because I knew the couple $100 that I brought will soon be gone, and I will become sick. So I better do something.
So you go from being kicked out and being cursed at getting Church's Chicken to acquiring over 100 failing stores, these restaurants, these fast food restaurants. Tell us what you saw that others perhaps didn't see in acquiring in that journey to acquire over 100 stores.
Well, that was, first of all, I worked at the same company from there to become a manager. They put me in MIT, management and training courses. They thought something is wrong that I'm working at that odd job. A couple of weeks later, manager came in and said, hey, look, they want me to produce some manager. And I don't know. I don't think you this material, what you're doing, dishwashing material. I said, sir, you could be the judge. What did I tell him? I didn't want to get kicked out of that job either. So he said, you want me to put people for MIT. Would you go? I said, very kind of you, sir. I saluted him and left. Then I become a manager, district manager, marketing director, vice president of operation, same company, chief operating officer. So that guy 6 years later was working for me, Gene Florani. So each time we go in front of my office, good morning, sir. I say, get the fuck out of here.
Rock content. This is what it is.
So, but I was focused on my poverty, war against poverty. That was my mission. And mission really started. In 4th grade, you used to finish Quran. So when I finished the Quran, there was 5 rupees you have to pay to the teacher, whoever taught you the Quran. I didn't have that 5 rupees. They did have some food that he used to produce, but nobody had cash after British left. They started to make it around them. And I give you a little some joke about that when I become TGI Fridays CEO. So, anyway, from there, anyway, there was a problem when I got the first. They used to send me to turn around.
Well, you are the turnaround king, and I've got some questions about.
But that's what they call me. Well, I'm nothing, but I sometimes feel like Rodney King.
Listen, you take your own life, impoverished in poverty, and you're trying to make sure education is part of your journey, but so is giving back. You lead with this idea that people come first. Tell us a little bit about what that meant in the business as you went through manager, district manager, CEO. What did it mean, people first?
Well, first of all, I didn't have money. And when I came in fast food, they don't pay you much. So you hardly make it, or if you have some desire to buy a new car because you come from poor country, or some suit or clothes, then there is nothing left. So what I wanted to do is where do I get the cash? I'm not talking about physical cash money. How do I excel when it comes to poverty? So I thought people are the only asset that I can utilize. So I mastered that thing over and over and over. Wherever was seminar, wherever anything, how to make people do things for you. So I learned that what you do is give them what they want and you get what you want. And most of my restaurant then was an African American neighborhood, minority and all that. It's chaos over there sometimes in those neighborhoods. So they needed a respect at the job, so I provided that respect. And I got famous for that. I was coaching, teaching, making sure I have proper training process. They could do better. If they could do better, I could do better. So small companies, 5 restaurants, 10 restaurants, 20, 30, 100. I've been doing that because money is not going to go to run businesses. That's the job. Money is when you find somebody's problem and solve it. So only way you can solve the problem if you're good with the people, because you can't do it. You're just one per hour, per rate, whatever that is. If you can engage thousands of people, that's thousands of dollars. So that's where I picked up people first and learned everything about people. So that I'm gonna.
So that's wonderful to hear. That might be your personal value, people first. But surely, you're talking about poverty and access to cash and finances. That just doesn't just come out of the clouds. You must have worked with financial institutions, banking institutions, and partners who may have said people shouldn't come first. Returns come first. Tell me a little bit about that challenge of seeking funding and working with banks to get to where your goal is, but also keep the people first alignment true.
Well, first of all, your work ethic and your own record is very important. It precedes you wherever you go. If people don't know you, what you can and can't do, nobody want to invest. So first investment, when I got 100 cruising store, at that time, 40 years or 30 years ago, $5 million was a lot of money. And these underscore was $5 million a year. So I said, how do I turn it around? So I did have what needed to be done. I didn't have money to clean them all up. So I went to get the money from New York. And they checked me out, run some psychology test on me and some. Honestly, that is true. I said, they're a psychologist. They think Pakistanis are crazy. So I went there, passed that test for them, and then they gave me the regular test and checked my background and all that. So I passed and they gave me $8 million.
It's wonderful.
So I cleaned that up, and that business produced hundreds of $millions later, because of that kept on buying, selling, kept on buying. Wherever there is a problem, I used to get first call.
So you mentioned something about Pakistanis and being associated because your name or our name is often mispronounced because of the way we look, because of our gender, our color of the skin, where we come from, maybe our religion. You still found a place through corporate America to lead as CEO. Advice that you have for folks, especially in this political climate that are challenged, is this truly the land of opportunity, and opportunity especially in uncertainty?
Well, in short, I said, don't let it stick. It's up to you. If somebody calls me a son of a bitch, if I'm not a son of a bitch, I shouldn't be bothered by it. Honestly, you are who you are, and you say to it. Why engage these people that they're not going anywhere? And you engage with them, they want to stop you too. So that competition always stop you. If probably you know because you did a lot of deals. Now I do bigger deals and a lot of fight goes on in boardroom with investors and others. And once you leave, they go for a dinner, laughing, joking, like nothing happened. That's the culture of this country. Over there, I tell you one time, they put me when Hollywood, when US sent F-16 soldier to Pakistan, there was a cultural problem. So embassy asked me to go help them because American from Texas and elsewhere, cowboy from Oklahoma, they just say son of a bitch or something. Our word doesn't mean anything. But for Pakistani, I mean something. So I went there trying to explain them that they're not calling you, they're calling that problem. So sometimes you have to understand the culture too, an idiom of the language and so on.
Well, it's also important, I think, to ignore some of that, but to also show your work and let your work speak for who you are. Let's talk a little bit about philanthropy and what you've done through all of your successes.
Let me, give me 1 second, allow me to explain to you. Do not pay attention to people what they tell you. I've never had, till today, and I've been 40 years here, felt discriminated. Is you're feeling infection, and feeling injustice, and feeling infection doesn't mean a check. So don't let it get to you. That's it. Go ahead.
So you built bridges, you built roads, as well as clinics. You've done work back in Pakistan, you've done work here in the United States. What does giving back mean to you, not just personally, but as a responsibility as an entrepreneur, and for those of us that are entrepreneurs in the room listening?
Well, I told you I didn't have 5 rupees, and that was my kind of a igniting point of my life. I was a little kid. I was about, at that time, probably 10 years old. When the teacher asked me, hey, did you bring the money? And they've been asking for a month. I didn't have money. And sometimes my father walk away, sometimes he says, I don't have it. But I knew for certain that I had to face the music when I get to the school. So that day, I don't know what mood he was in, but he slapped me when I told him no, I didn't have it. So then I told him that if I have it, he would have had it. But I couldn't hold my emotion, I started crying. But I didn't want to cry in front of the kids. So I ran in the back of the school and take against the wall and looking down on through the mountain. And I said, what the hell just happened to me? So after a while, about 5-10 minutes of crying, I got very strong. All of a sudden, some power came in and says, fight it. And that day, I didn't even know what the hell I was fighting, honestly. As I grew up, they started coming to me. And I was fighting against the poverty and never looked back. Till today, I don't look back. I still think I'm poor, running after poverty. But I decided about a few years back that God gave me this gift. I lived like a royalty, I got a lot of money, I helped people, I educated my kids, educated myself. Every day, till today, I learn because I can pass on that information to the people. But I want to do something for the poor people where I come from. They are hopeless. Even though the physical body, they are good-looking, strong men, and whatever have you, but they don't have the knowledge how to get out of that mess. So I decided 6 years ago. First 3 years, myself and my CFO, we used to go there. Every night, we used to, our head in our hand and say, we're fairly smart people, how come we are not succeeding? We figure out that those people do not trust anybody. They don't trust themselves whether they can do anything. So they don't trust us. We figured out it took 3 years. 3 years later, we start doing whatever we promised. We just deliver at a time, one thing at a time. And now there's a line. We travel 40 miles, 50 miles long, and people are on the road everywhere saying thank you. We are building clinics, we are building. First of all, I started a bridge. Because when I was a little kid, my friend in school, his mother had a diabetic, she was. And her son went for medicine, and there was a river he had to and monsoon, river, you can't pass it. So we went to Ahmedabad and get the medicine. On the way back, rain happened, so he can't cross. In 2 days, he's right across the street. He couldn't reach his mother, and she died without medicine. So I said, if I ever little money, I'm going to do something about this. So I put the bridge. People thought he's crazy. Bridges are only built by the government. How could he put a huge big bridge in a mountain area? Well, everything is possible if you're committed to your commitments.
And everything is possible in Pakistan. Right?
Yes. So I did, and we put it right on time, even though we had a lot of setbacks and so on. So once that was done, people started believing that it can be done. If government couldn't do it, this little guy who went from this village could do it. It can be done. Then I started putting the clinics. So now 5th clinic is done. Every 5 clinic, then I'm going to put the hospital, which we were supposed to go now for this war, and we're thinking about going in a couple of months from now. Hopefully there will be a peace in the world.
That's really impressive. I think that's congratulations. So success in business, success in philanthropy. Let's not kid ourselves. Life comes with challenges. You've had a set of your own, from health crisis to even personal things like a divorce, right? Talk us through how, and this is very real because some of us may have to go through these crises during this journey that we're trying to put together to serve others, to have success in our own lives. How did you navigate through those challenges?
Well, you have to have a mission in mind. I mean, mission has to have a commitment, a level of commitment that you're going to walk. And if you're not committed to your commitments, or you don't have a commitment to your commitments, you're never going to do anything. Because everyone in Somalia, I wanted to say, okay, I'm not going to get up. I wish I can sleep 2 hours more. But I forced myself because I'm absolutely committed to cause. And if you're committed to the cause, it's just like people ask me, how come nobody ever went with these Pathan guys in northern Pakistan or Afghanistan? I said they are willing to die. When somebody is willing to die, nobody can win with them. So if you're willing to die for your mission, you always get up and do whatever you have to do. But you have to have that strong commitment to yourself. And that's what I have. And I have a mission, so it doesn't matter what happens. I tell you, the small or big, once you succeed, success has thousands of others. First I started telling them apni madad went over their head. Then I started engaging them. Now I put and then people started engaging. Now I put a new system over there in those villages. By the way, 600 villages I'm going to fix in lifetime. So that I give them inform, influence, and engage these people. They can do it, whatever they can. And then other people come from other places and trying to help them to do things too. So it's not me alone now. And I want to introduce my CFO. Go ahead, stand up and show them. So she goes on all those mountains with me and walk. We never come back with the same shoes because it's so rugged mountain. But we never give up. There is no toilet over there. On the way up, it's fine. On the way back, we tell driver, please slow down. Accident may happen. Because what do? You have to deal with all of that adversity. It is what it is over there. But those people are stuck in time. We have to help them. They are good people.
Let's just start wrapping up, but we've got a lot of young people in the room or around here, and you're going to see them, and you have your own son taking the helm of Falcon Holdings. I know my mother said, study, or do you want to go flip hamburgers at McDonald's? You seem to have done quite well at a franchise, so I can't wait to go back to my mom and tell her. But what advice, and we'll end with this, do you have for young people, but also entrepreneurs in the room? If there's a message that you'd like to maybe conclude with, what would that be?
Well, do not limit your challenges. Take the challenges as many as you can. Challenge your limit. There is no limit man has. Honestly, you can do almost anything if you set your mind up. And that's my biggest. And also, in the life, whenever you pick up something, there are a lot of obstacles, setbacks. Continue to be resilient and keep on exploring the God's word. I personally believe there is no problem is a permanent problem till you find a solution, and solution is here.
All right, well, let's take this and perhaps give you all the opportunity to ask any questions. Maybe do a quick Q&A for a few minutes, if that's all right. And we have some mics going around in the back of the room. If anybody has questions, please raise your hand. We'll get a mic over. Questions? Khalid?
Nothing but from my friend.
Excellent story. I have heard this before, but I must say, so proud of you as a friend from Dallas. I was going to request if you can share a little bit more details about even though it's very personal about your health, because there's also a lot of challenge for a lot of people, that how you have endured through that difficult time as well, if it's okay.
So, can you repeat the question? Because echo.
Yeah, I believe he was talking about health challenges that you've had and the journey that you've had to go through because of your health challenges, perhaps?
Well, there's a lot of doctors, so they know what the challenge is when you have a lung problem. So I did not know what happened to me. And I didn't acknowledge it first, because I'm not a smoker, I'm not a drinker, I don't do anything intentionally bad. So what happened? Why I have a lung problem? I said it cannot be possible. So denial wasted some of my time. Then I went to the Mayo Clinic, I went to the others. Nobody for certain said that they kept on saying that there's something wrong with your lungs. But it was IPF, idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. And fibrosis, that a lot of you know if you're a doctor, if something small gets a particle in your lung, it creates scar. And that scar continues rapidly increase. And then your lung becomes non-functional. So by the time I got to UT Southwestern, doctor said you have 90 days to live. I said, okay. So I said, what
Hopefully you didn't curse the doctor out, right?
No, I tell you what I did with him. So he said, honestly, by the way, I promise you, I'm not making it up. I'm not afraid of death, because it must come sooner or later. I'm going 80, I'm over 70, so go figure. So I went, I said, look, since we have 90 days left, the normal lung match takes 8 months. And you have another problem. I said, what's my problem? No. He said, you have AB plus positive. That's only unique blood type. That only equal to 4% of the world population. How would you get away with it? So I said, Doc, I know. And then he said, you're gonna die because you're too old. I said, don't worry about that. So then he kept on explaining. I think their duty is to tell the patient everything, truth but nothing truth. So that he kept on reading through telling me. I said, Doc, you and I, this is such a, I said, you and I have the same age. The 68, they don't want you to do the surgery because your hands are not stable, but you're still doing it. He said, yes. I said, I'll put in $2.3 million on your coffer. Why don't you go get busy? He said, dying is my problem. Don't worry about that. You do your job. So I said, do you have a problem with that? He said, no. I said, LFG. So he got it and he went. And then and one nurse, Filipino nurse. And guess what? 3 days before bench. And 4 more days they put it up. Hang it wherever they hang the things. And 4 or 5 days later, I was exercising. And now I'm running, exercising. I didn't even know why I was not a problem.
Got maybe room for one more question? One very quick question. And then maybe.
Asma is so proud of you and so proud to be your neighbor. We happen to be in the same town. My question is that if you have to start all over and with no network, what would you suggest to all of us to do it in the first 30 days?
Sure. So from what I understood is if you had to start all over again, what would you recommend to do in the first 30 days?
Well, first day I do, I won't born in a mountain. You have no idea what I'm saying. But I will not do anything different. I will continue to work hard, continue focus on my mission. There's a lot of distraction when you come from third world country to over here. And especially if you're young man, stay focused because we have to get our country out of poverty. And poverty is curse. I tell people, it makes people do things that they normally don't do. I promise you a lot of people that doing stupid things is not because they have to do them. It's just because the poverty makes them do it. So I was the other day doing math. I said, what if everybody saved $10 and we million people for a week, 300 million people are 250. What would you do? It will give you $17 billion. So you don't have to go Arab and bend over and live for $2 billion. But we don't have the other stuff is, I teach that when your conscious level is low, then you perform low. When your conscious level is high, you perform very high. Now, conscious level, I could say, in our terms, is awareness. We are not awareness of our problem, our solution. And I give you a couple. We have one foundation here that I'm going to do something for minority. Because I told the government in Capitol Hill, and told them that you become a minority and very soon. So what do you do when right now they break your window to steal your wife's purse? Tomorrow they will break your front door, eat your dinner. Give them access to network, give them access to money, give them access to something so they can have something to lose. So they don't lose anything. Right now, the people are doing robbery and this and that because they have nothing to lose. I'll give you one quick example.
Okay, we'll take this.
One,
Yep.
one day I was in Chicago and I was right in front of the Rushmore Hospital and we have a restaurant there. So I'm walking around and there was a guy pretty uneasy, going like this. So I went close to him and I said, anything I could do? And he said, no, I didn't want to bother him. I left. And then he continued doing, disturbing people. So I showed him, I was wearing, I said, I work here. What can I do for you? He said, you don't understand. I said, what is that I can't understand? I can help you. He said, no, they just dropped me from jail over here and I have no place to go. I'm going to eat somebody, I'm going to go back. So this is our own creation. We have to help those people, don't trap them.
Okay, let's move to the last question, please. Do you have a mic? Oh,
Yes. In terms of philanthropy, what have you found to be most effective in Pakistan? Specifically, philanthropy, what have you found to be most effective in Pakistan?
What?
By way of philanthropy, what have you found to be most effective in Pakistan by way of philanthropy?
Well, I don't know about that, but I understood that whatever needed in my village, I started from there. That was their need. They don't have access to aspirin. They didn't have access to road. We promise you, they used to take the whatever called patient on the cart.
Sure, the stretchers.
Our stretcher is a little bit more comfortable. And so in a cart and on the way to the hospital sometimes. So that's what I wanted to do, the first aid. Now I'm doing the working on 2 years from now with this C1G's help and other, I'm going to put the hospital, mobile hospital. So I go to village to village because I'm working first thing on infrastructure that most of the village I got the road going. And third thing we are doing it, there is a hospital in Lahore, Dr. Shahryar Khan, he's helping. So we are scanning the women in the villages. They don't even know what the cancer is. So they just say, oh, I have a pain here. And other day we tested 5 of them, 3 of them, in age of 30 and one a little over 30 had a breast cancer. So they are treating them now, free of cost.
For the evening, I did want to ask you a question because you're the turnaround king. And I wanted to ask you how we turned around the Pakistani cricket team. But maybe we'll talk about that over dinner. Thank you, Aslam. What a powerful start to our retreat. Your story reminds us that leadership isn't about titles, it's about values. And entrepreneurship isn't just about building companies, it's about building lives, communities, and legacies. Let's carry this inspiration into the panels and the conversations ahead later this evening as well as tomorrow. Let's build boldly and with grace and a value system. You crossed that bridge on foot, but you've left a footprint on all of us. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being a part of the
Thank you. I tell you one little joke that I promised these guys I will tell you. So I become a CEO of TGI Friday. So after I figured out the ins and outs of it, I went to England. So in England, I had a president who is in charge of overseas all over the world. So he came to pick me up with a lot of other tall British 5, 6 people. I'm a little guy, so some picking up my bag, some picking up my little suitcase and stuff and putting it in limousine. So I stepped back about 10 feet back and I kept on looking up. So this president, his name is Ian, he said, Mr. Khan, everything is okay? I said, yes, sir. I'm just talking, you're gazing at the sky. I said, yes, I'm talking to my grandfather and telling him, Grandpa, you watching, time has changed. Let's change the time.
Thank you, everybody. It's nice.
Wow, what a powerful story. I don't even know where to go from there, honestly. That was absolutely incredible, and I hope that all of you are feeling as inspired and your heart as warm as mine is. So we still have a little bit more of the program left. I know that we're all getting hungry, but I promise that you will be just as excited about the next segment of our evening. We are very fortunate tonight to have a series of special guest speakers joining us. So to start with our guest speaker series, I'd like to invite up the State Senator of Virginia, Mr. Saddam Aslan Salim.
Assalamu alaikum everyone and good evening. I completely did not realize what the format was. But to Mr. Khan, that was very inspirational. I think when I look at his story and when I look at where I'm at, in the general sense of where we all come from, it is truly an inspiration. And I do want to thank everyone at Open for having me here tonight and just really inviting me over to say a few remarks about, just overall what this is about and what we're all doing here as well. So I'm Senator Saddam Salim, one of the youngest senators at Virginia State Legislature at the moment. And my journey is no different than any one of ours. My father came here back in the 95, 96. And living in Bangladesh, you realize you're in a small village with 20 other people. Summers are more than 100 degrees, and then when it's winter and when it's rain, you got the flood. So 1998 flood happens, and my parents are like, what do we do? It's a natural disaster. What do I do for my kids? And I really want you to remember that part of that story is that what do they do for the next generation? How do they set them up? And that really is the turning point where 2 years later we come to America. Now this is great. Everyone's like, you're gonna go to America, the American dream, the homes, all that stuff. Immediately, as soon as we get to America, we become homeless. And what I mean by that is that literally we're in the streets of DC with our belongings on the side of the streets, that I have no idea what's going on because I speak zero English at this moment as a 10-year-old boy, and my dad's at work trying to figure out what does he do with it. And that's when we transition into Virginia, where people welcome us in. We live in their basements, back and forth, until we get affordable housing, until we get back on our feet. Fast forward 23 years later. I graduate, my siblings graduate, we all try to figure out how do we get back to those same communities that have helped us get through. And I go, you know what? There's this thing called people are always running for office, they're always getting involved. And I've heard about this, great person that's going to be speaking later on soon, Senator Hashmi, as one of the first Muslims to be in the state Senate. What am I doing with my life that I want to be able to give back instead of trying to just go to work, do what I have to do, and really survive? But in between all of that 23 years, my mom went through a hysterectomy, which in our community we can't talk about women's issue. My dad discovered he has diabetes and none of them have health insurance. So they're going to clinics trying to figure this out. For about 5 years, Mom was in pain until she finally realized she needed the surgery. And we just said, look, this is either going to kill her or she's going to survive. Let's just do the surgery, we'll worry about the bills later. I looked through the bills, this is about $27,000 because I was the only one in the family that paid attention to numbers and all that for the family. And that's where people came in and really helped us out. Our aunts and uncles who we were never related by blood, but these were families that took us in that really helped us out. Again, 2023, I was like, how do I give back? What do I do? And it really hits me that I should probably run for office, do something with my life, and really give back to the community. And that's exactly what I did. And when you live in Northern Virginia, this is a very democratic area where religiously people will be in their seat until they die. And I mean that literally. And I was like, how do I do this? I can't run as a Republican because this is a 70-30 district. I ended up challenging somebody that's been there for about 16 years. And my goal was really, let me go and run, get my name out there. I'll leave that seat and go do something else. We go from 0 volunteers to 1 employee, my campaign manager, and myself, at a office of a law firm that I was able to get a lease on from Craigslist for $425. So we do a lot of that, and we end up raising a small amount of money. I put all my savings into it, and we take down somebody who spent $1.2 million against my $150,000. Now, here's the part that's really great about this is that we came to America on June 20th, the year 2000. The primary was June 20th, 2023. My mom is one of the first few people that went to the poll and she voted. And for her, this was a journey. For us, it was a journey. To be able to see her son's name on a ballot where that was never supposed to be our goal. Our goal was to get your education, go back home, help people out. For her to see that, I have never seen her happy. It's like, I don't know what I did. I'm not a doctor, by the way, nor a lawyer. Those are the only 2 options for folks in our community. But that really is inspirational. For her to see that, and guess what today is? June 20th, 2025. So it's an incredible journey. When I heard Mr. Khan talk about his journey, about what does it mean to give back, that's what this is about. Every one of you in this room, you have that same journey where you came from nothing. You came from Pakistan, you came from other places where you knew how tough it was. You knew what it meant to spend that extra $100 on something that really meant something to your kids. And here's the thing, you did it for the next generation. That's what my dad did. His first job when he came to America was being a dishwasher. He still works at the same place since 1995, I want to say. And now he's one of the head chefs there. That is the American dream. That is what he chose to do so that his kids could go to Fairfax County Public Schools, could get the best things in the world at that time. So I wanted to share that story because being elected into the state senate, walking into that chamber with another state senator that's also Muslim, it means so much because, I'm going to be honest, a guy named Saddam, how the heck was he supposed to get elected? I mean, look, we played around with my yard sign. Do we put Saddam or do we leave it off? And I said, you know, I'm proud of my name. We're going to put it on the yard sign. And every time you drove throughout my district, whether it was Tyson's or Fairfax, you get that look from people for a good 5 seconds. They pause and they're like, really? That's dumb. There's going to be Sharia law coming soon. And I just look at it and I just laugh. And then a week goes by, they're coming to my events and they're like, we're going to vote for you because we don't like the other guy. And I was like, okay, that's great. This is picking up momentum. But here's the reality. When Mr. Khan up here, he was talking about how we are looked at differently, not because of where we come from, but also because but also because of our names, of exactly where we come from, because of 9/11, because of everything that took place. But it is going to take all of us in this room to come together, be in a coalition to say, let's move the next generation forward. So with that, I really want to say thank you for having me here tonight, and thank you for having me be part of your journey as much as you are part of mine. So thank you.
For someone who said he didn't know he was going up and wasn't prepared, that was an incredible speech. So now I know how you became a politician. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. So a fun fact about our next speaker, as of 2 days ago, she is the first South Asian and Muslim American major party nominee for statewide office in the United States. So I'd like to please invite up nominee for statewide office, Lieutenant Governor of Virginia, Mrs. Khazala Hashmi.
Well, good evening and assalamu alaikum. It's so wonderful to join you all, and thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity to just say a few words and really celebrate the community that is here. I want to say to Mr. Khan, your story has been so absolutely inspirational, knowing that you have transformed not only your life and the personal experiences, but the lives of so many countless people. Those are the kinds of stories that really are so impactful and affect the way we look at the world. And one thing that continuously resonated with me as Mr. Khan was speaking was the core idea that poverty is trauma. Poverty is trauma that so many hundreds of millions of individuals throughout this world carry with them. And it is trauma that can be avoided. It is trauma that if we work collectively together, we can address and we can actually improve the lives of people. We can remove that childhood trauma in particular, which actually affects brain development, and ensure that we are seeing a positive opportunity for millions and millions of individuals. And that's really the work that's in front of us, isn't it? So thank you very much for the inspiring story. You just heard from my young colleague, Senator Saddam Salim. You know, when he first joined the Virginia Senate, I used to kid around and say, this is my kid brother. And then the harsh reality hit me. I was old enough to be his mother, and so I can no longer call him my brother. I have to call him my beta. It is just wonderful to join you. We're talking a lot about journeys, and I'll just share very briefly, because I know dinner is on its way, my own improbable journey to where I am today. You see, I was a mild-mannered English professor for 30 years. I taught American literature in Virginia's colleges, and I really had not planned to run for office. But my journey actually began a long time before that, and that was part of my father's journey, my mother's journey, as each of our journeys are inextricably connected to our parents and our families. You see, and I'm going to give away my age, in 1964, my father was a humble professor living in Karachi and teaching political science, and one hot day in July, my dad received 2 telegrams at the same time. One telegram said, "Congratulations, you have received a fellowship to come to the United States, to the University of South Carolina, to complete your PhD program." He opened the other telegram and it said, "Congratulations, baby daughter, all is well." And that baby daughter was me. So he had a dilemma in front of him. He had 2 telegrams that essentially charted 2 different pathways for his life, that he could stay in Pakistan and be with his small family and continue to live the life that was in front of him, or he could set forth for the unknown, for a hard and difficult journey by himself, because he couldn't afford to bring my mother, my older brother, and me with him as he worked on his graduate degree. And so he made that very, very difficult decision, and that decision made all the difference. And so when I decided to run in 2019 for the first time for political office, I looked to my father for inspiration, because he made those hard choices. And sometimes we have to make those hard choices because we know that there are bigger things in front of us, that we have a responsibility to impact the world and to make life a little better for other people around us. I knew I couldn't sit still when Donald Trump was elected and saying that Muslims ought to be banned, calling people who look like us and came from parts of the world that did not fit his concept of what was good and true. I had to respond to those stereotypes. I decided to run for the state Senate seat in the Richmond area. My tagline was, Ghazala Hashmi is an American name. That tagline resonated because people around Virginia understood what that meant. It was an improbable journey. I wasn't supposed to win. I flipped a long-held Republican seat, and I brought in a majority into the Virginia Senate. And then this past year, I launched another improbable journey, knowing that we were facing such challenges in Virginia, that we need to have strong executive state leadership, that we have to work on the progress that we have been focused on. I decided to run for lieutenant governor, and a lot of people told me, you're not going to succeed. In fact, I just found out this week that there was a betting pool against me. I had the lowest margin of victory according to this betting pool, so if you bet on me, I hope you won big. Because this past Tuesday night was our primary. There were 5 men running for this seat. There was 1 woman, there was 1 Ghazala Hashmi. We had a nail biter of a primary. It was touch and go all the way, but I knew we were going to succeed because I was running on issues that really resonated and mattered to Virginians, that we talk about education and healthcare and housing, that we respond to the trauma that comes from poverty, and that we point the way in how we are going to improve our communities' lives. And alhamdulillah, we won by a margin. We won, however, and I am now the first, as you heard, the first Muslim in the country, first Muslim woman in the country to be a major party's nominee on a statewide office. We are moving forward to November. We've got a tough race ahead, but we are emboldened by the work we have done, the progress we've made, and the support we've seen from so many communities. And I'm looking forward to being Virginia's next lieutenant governor. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to start figuring out how I can move to Virginia before November so I can vote for you. Ghazala Hashmi is an American name. I really love that. That's powerful. Thank you for sharing your story and your journey. I'm going to start saying Farah Chalisa as an American name because I forget that, and it's really important to remember. So, before we wrap up, we have one very, very important segment of the evening left. So I would like to actually invite back up Mr. Tariq Khan and Mr. Hassan Khalid. They are going to be presenting the award to recognize outstanding contribution to Open. As they make their way up here, I'll tell you a bit about the winner, the awardee, the winner of this award. So just a moment, please. I seem to have lost my notes. For over U.S. and Pakistani charities from her home base in Washington, D.C. Inspired by her parents' emphasis on giving back, Mrs. Kidwai has made philanthropy a central part of her life's mission. Her charitable efforts have supported numerous organizations, and if I were to list them all, I think we would be here for far too long, but that should give you an idea of how large the number is. In addition to her work with Pakistani charities, she supports several U.S.-based organizations, serves on the board of directors of well-established nonprofit organizations, and has recently celebrated the 50th anniversary for Friends of Pakistan Club, the American Pakistani Women's Association, and Eye Care Foundation USA. She is also the leader of TCF USA and founder. Mrs. Kidwai was instrumental in grassroots fundraising efforts across the U.S. for the Citizens Foundation, TCF, which has now grown into Pakistan's most respected education-focused NGO. It is a member of the prestigious Clinton Global Initiative and recipient of the Schwab Foundation Social Entrepreneur Award in 2015, a top 10 finalist for the OECD DAC Prize and a UNESCO Confucius Prize for Literacy winner. She served on the board of directors for TCF USA and continues her involvement as a senior advisor to the board, and currently serves as president and coordinator of the TCF Washington, D.C. chapter. Under her leadership, it has grown into a truly women-strong organization. By ensuring 100% female faculty, TCF has overcome one of the greatest barriers to girls' education in Pakistan: parental resistance to sending daughters to schools staffed by male teachers. In addition to her work with TCF, Mrs. Kidwai is the founder, trustee, and president of the Hunar Foundation USA, where she also serves on the board of directors. Her leadership continues to drive the foundation's mission of empowering youth through vocational training and life skill development. So I'll hand it off to Mr. Dar Khan and Mr. Hassan Khalid to award her award.
I have been told that she raises over $5 million every year.
Thank you so much. The education is the important element of a country. And where we are now, and we are fortunate that we can give a good education for our children. So I believe the underprivileged children need the same education to change the country. And I'm so thankful to all of you believing in the education, believing in me, what I'm doing for the TCF, and we will continue our mission. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much again to your commitment to women's education. Girls like me all around the world are grateful for your commitment to ensuring that we have every right to education and that we get to be standing up on podiums in front of all of you, getting to moderate sessions like this. So thank you. So I know we're all getting hungry, but last but not least, to wrap up tonight, which is not an end, but in fact a celebration of our beginning, I'd like to invite up a board member of Open New York and part of this weekend's host committee, Mr. Zahid Sheikh.
Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. It's great to see everybody over here to kick off an amazing retreat. Can we get a big pen? Can we get a big pen? inspiring and humbling stories from all our individuals and speakers. So I personally got an invite yesterday, like last year, to attend TCF Gala, and I was just absolutely amazed and just floored how much work that's being done for Pakistan and the communities over there. And so thank you so much for everything that you're doing. I think I don't want to take too much time of yours because I know everybody's hungry, so just want to get a couple of things out of the way. We have an absolutely wonderful program lined up for you tomorrow, so just please make sure to be there on time, 8 a.m. sharp. But for now, I guess, welcome to the Global Retreat. Dinner is open, and enjoy and network, and see you tomorrow. Good night.